Welcome to the Scared But Not Damaged podcast, a podcast that supports, empowers, and inspires women that have experienced abuse or experiencing emotional trauma or pain. This podcast will challenge you to push against the tides and rewrite your story. On this show, I will be sharing some of the principles of Scared But Not Damaged, a life that has gone through adversity and abuse and has come out strong in spite of life's challenges. Despite the scars, your worth and your value remains intact and undamaged. Each week, we will discuss topics like what is abuse, what are the red flags that you are in an abusive relationship or marriage. I am your host, Naomi. Good. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a new episode this week. And it's great to have you back, listeners. And guess what? I have a special guest in the house today.
Today, in the building.
We have a special guest in the house today in the building.
Yeah.
Whoa. Today we'll be talking about a very interesting topic. But before I delve into it, I'd like to introduce a friend, somebody I've known for over 30 years. Whoa. I'm going to introduce to you. Today, I'm going to introduce to you Pastor Debby Jones-Erue. She's a doctor of psychology. So she's Dr. Debby Jones-Erue. We welcome you to this platform today.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Okay. We are going to be talking about everything to do with trauma. Trauma is a big topic. So before I delve into that topic, I'll just like to tell us a bit more about Dr. Debby. Dr. Debby Jones is a trained counselor and a psychologist. She is a pastor, a convener of Women in Rescue, the vice president of the Global Peace and Relief Initiative, and a co-pastor, Jabez House of Prayer. She is the publisher and editor-in-chief of G Influence magazine and the initiator of the G Influence International Initiative. She organizes, she also helps the youth and women by giving them leverage to alleviate poverty and to engender oneness among citizens of Nigeria and Niger Delta in particular. She organizes prayer quick in designated places in Nigeria. She's also a speaker for different conferences, and she's won awards, recipients of different dignified awards. She's a host on a reality TV talk show called The Real Talk on the social media handle, Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And she also holds a diploma in data processing. She has a BEd counseling certificate in entrepreneurship, and she has a master's in educational psychology. Whoa, she's married to the prophet of God, Pastor Jones-Erue, Prophet Jones-Erue. Jones-Erue. And their marriage is blessed with children. My darling friend and sister, I welcome you.
That's a mouthful of curriculum vital.
I know, it's so much. I was like, where do I start? I'm trying to shunk it up. Whoa. Welcome, and thanks so much for honoring this. I know the guests will be wondering, where do I know you from? Do you want to tell them before we start? Where do you know this woman from?
Oh my goodness.
Naomi, where do you know her from?
Very good evening to our audience, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for this wonderful and rare privilege. And to my sister and my friend for over 30 years, I know her as Belinda, but now she's Naomi, and that's a very good one. I like that. Change is allowed, you know. I know her as my SP in AGGS, Anglican Girls
What is SP?
Grammar School.
People don't know SP. What is SP?
Senior prefect. Okay.
Head girl.
Senior prefect, yes. And she was, I don't know now, I'm sure she's still calm, you understand, with her thick eyeglass before in those days, you understand. But she's very intelligent. And when intelligent person is saying that you know what to say, come and speak on my platform, know that we are highly favored. So thank you very much for having me. And I'm happy that we reconnected and we're going higher about this. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's nice. A good thing, you know, friendship of over 30 years. You know, it's been a long time coming, and I'm so glad for all your what you've achieved and where you are today and how you're helping your community, women and the youth, and what God is doing in your life, not just as a professional, but the fact that you're touching lives, you know. So it's it's great to have you here today. Like I said to you, my platform, it's for women and people that have gone through trauma, abuse, and they're carrying pain and hurt. And using your background as a pastor and also using your background as a psychologist, I feel it's a topic that you can do well and help us understand. So it's an area where I know it's you will be in your element. So I'd like you to tell us, what exactly is trauma? What is trauma?
Okay, first of all, I know the topic of discourse given to me is the impact of emotional trauma and its effect. I think very importantly there we have emotion and we have trauma. So, but you're asking me of trauma now, so I'm just going to define trauma in 3 perspectives.
Okay.
Now, trauma can be seen as a deeply distressing or disturbing experience. Like we always say that experience is the best teacher. That is only when you actually allow it to teach you the lesson. And of course, we say that experience is the process of getting knowledge or skill from doing, seeing, feeling things. So if we're talking about trauma, it has to do with feelings, has to do with seeing, has to do with doing. Another definition of trauma is can be seen as a physical injury. That is an injury such as wound to living tissue caused by an extrinsic agent. For example, accidents that can cause trauma. So that's another way we can see trauma. And sicknesses also can actually cause trauma. And the third one is a disordered psychic or behavioral state resulting from severe mental or emotional stress or physical injury. But this one is all encompassing, the third definition, because it has to do with your emotion, has to do with your psychic, it has to do with your physical. So the bottom line here is stress, distressing or disturbing experience, can actually be trauma. So that's just for me, that's the way I can define trauma.
Yeah.
You understand? Now, but you're talking about emotional trauma. I don't know if you want me to just talk generally or I
wanted you to first talk about trauma. Let people have a clue. That's what you do. So thank you so much.
Okay, so it's about a distressing experience.
Give them an overview
that can actually cause you something.
Yeah, it's good for people to have the helicopter view, an overview of what trauma is. Then how the impact of emotional trauma, what is emotional trauma, which you've defined.
Okay, so now let me just say this, like as a teacher that I am, we like to define our concepts a lot. So we're looking at emotional trauma.
Yeah.
Now, emotion is the psychological component of an individual that have to do with the ability to influence behavior and attitude. In other words, we can't talk about And I'm sorry, someone is trying to come in. Sorry for that. Behavior is what organisms do. Behavior is an organism activities in response to external or internal stimuli, including objectives, something that is observable, intrinsic, that is not observable, or non-conscious. Now, attitude on its own is a settled way of thinking or feeling about something. So someone just call you that you're mad. The way you feel, the way you take it, the way you see it, the way you now react is your attitude. So we're talking about, trauma. So I've already defined trauma. Now we're looking at emotion. So in a nutshell, we could also say that emotional trauma is the result of extraordinary stressful events that shatter oneself or shatter you, shatter your sense of security. In life, security matters a lot. In marriages, in business, in everything. If you don't have the feeling of security in your marriage, God, any little thing can just scare you. So when we talk about emotional trauma, we're talking about the result of an extraordinary stressful event that shatter your sense of security, making you feel helpless in a dangerous world that we already are. I want to say very quickly here that emotion, we say that is your feeling, is the way you feel, the way you it's the way you feel. Just if you want to define it to a layman, is the way you feel. Like, for example, that's why I always say that psychologists, counselors should be well paid, because you heard of the news of a medical doctor who actually committed suicide by jumping into the Lagos Lagoon. That's the medical doctor. I mean, this guy knows everything about anatomy, knows everything about the body structure, yet he could take his life. That is his feeling. I can say that it wasn't emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence means you are aware of your behavior and that of others. Yeah. So your feeling is very, very, and I can say that to our listeners, that what our sister is trying to help us is that, whatever you feel, you can actually come out of it. That is the essence of this thing, because now it's talking about this. If I'm like a teacher, I will always say that by the end of this topic, you should be able to define emotion, be able to define trauma, able to know the causes, the triggers, the etiology of emotional trauma, and also how you can heal from it. Having said that, I want us to know that every one person have their tolerance. Do you understand? This emotional trauma we're talking about, we all have our own level of tolerance. That's why I said trauma can cause a wide range of physical and emotional symptoms. Before I go into that, you should also know that everyone who experiences a stressful event will develop trauma. But some people will develop symptoms that resolve after a few weeks. For example, I like to use myself, you understand. I've been through a lot. There are a lot of things that I've passed through that some persons who just want to resolve taking their lives. That's to say that tomorrow I will say that my level of tolerance is high. Nice. Do you understand? But not everybody. There are some persons, little thing like this. I can tell you, I've passed through a lot in my marriage, in ministry, amongst friends, yet I'm still standing. And I've learned a lot from those. I've learned a lot from them. I keep smiling. I keep dancing. People just see me and just say, oh, it's like this woman don't have problem. Who says so? But that is the way I deal with problems. I just look at them. You said we should pray. And very, very important. I developed this thing called psychobiblical. That's because science, there are a lot of questions that science cannot answer. That science are still looking for answers. Oh, we think that this, we think that this can trigger, we think that, but the answers are always in the Bible. So where science fail, we can always bring the Bible. So I can tell you that the Bible has practically helped me in handling such traumatic experience in life. Do you understand? A traumatic person can feel a range of emotions, both immediately after the event and in the long term. They may feel overwhelmed, helpless, shocked. That is symptoms. They may feel overwhelmed, shocked, or have difficulty processing their experiences. Now, trauma can also cause physical symptoms. You understand? So if you're talking of emotion, you should also look at the physical symptoms. Trauma can have long-term effect on the person's well-being. Now, if symptoms persist and do not decrease in severity, it can indicate that the trauma has developed into a mental disorder. So we should also know that there is something we call mental health disorder, which is called post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder. That's for those who cannot be able to accept the fact that, oh, I lost the loved one. Do you understand? Oh, why should I lose this loved one? Why? Or I'm coming to that, let me not beat the gun. But funny enough, do you know that I just define trauma in 3 perspectives, that we have 3 levels. I just defined trauma in using 3 perspectives. You understand? The truth of the matter is that there is a trauma we call secondary trauma or vicarious trauma. This one is that type that is the form of trauma a person develops symptoms from close contact with someone who has experienced a traumatic event. That is why I love the poem called Casualty. I've always loved literature. I love that poem called Casualty. You can still remember it. I think it's by Larry Peters, that is friends, who wrote Casualty. Said casualties are not only those who are killed in battles. They are not only those who are injured in battles. Say casualties are also those who hear the rumor of war. Of war.
And the impact.
For example, an armed robbery, you say there's an armed robbery taking place close by. They have not even come to your place, but you can't sleep. You say, off the light. And every day you keep thinking of this. That is what we call secondary symptom. They didn't come to your house, but you are affected.
You're affected
by it. Yeah. Can I go with the symptom you want to ask?
I was going to ask. I said
we're looking at the time.
We're talking about how it does impact people that have gone through trauma. Like, for instance, now I'm talking about the emotional trauma. These people that have gone through abuse, domestic abuse, they don't make sense of what has happened to them until they left. While they are there, sometimes they just keep acting the way mentally they can't conceive what's happening. When they now leave that situation, the more they are now learning about, they are not making sense. But then they can't understand why they don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like they've lost their own identity. They've lost themselves.
Okay, now before,
some of them go through
so
pressure,
they need to find their way back.
Right?
They need to find their way back. Can you get me?
Yeah.
Okay, before then, I like us to, we are starting something, so we should make that some persons who are actually passing through some certain situation that they don't know that it's a traumatic experience or they are breaking down. So I like us to look at some symptoms of trauma. Okay. When we talk about symptoms, don't forget it's what you as a person experience. White signs are the things that others notice in you. Right? Now, some symptoms for those listening to me, now you can have symptoms like denial, anger, fear, sadness, shame, confusion, anxiety, depression, numbness, guilt, hopelessness, irritability. Like you said, they lost their identity, irritability, difficulty concentrating. They may have also emotional outbursts. They find it difficult to cope with how they feel or withdraw from others. These are many. And then we have physical responses also. We have, like, along with emotional reaction, we have trauma can also cause physical symptoms like headache, digestive symptoms, fatigue, raising heart, sweating, feeling jumping. Sometimes the person will also experience hyperosa, or when someone feels as though they are in a constant state of alertness. You understand? For example, I've gone through trauma of plane a lot. Trauma. And for me to enter, I don't have option. But I'll just, anytime I enter, there's this alertness. God, it's like this plane. the weather is okay, yet I'm scared. You understand?
Yeah.
At times I'll just say, I'll just leave, like my husband will always say, my wife, when you are up there, you are in the hands of God. Just leave. I'll just say, God, I'm in your hand. But I'm telling you, because of the effect of what I passed through, pain, trauma, and the rest, but I don't have option. I must travel. And I don't want to go by road this far journey.
Yeah.
So that's another this thing. And there's this alertness. Any small thing, any noise in the plane, the noise not even get any problem. Hey, is the plane okay? So this alertness and some of the things that causes this, like you rightly said, that I should make them also know some of the causes.
Yeah.
We have bullying, harassment, physical, psychological, sexual abuse is so common. We have sexual assault, traffic collision, we have childbirth, we have life-threatening illnesses. I'm coming to that. I'm going to talk about it seriously, because if a purpose is not known, is that not what they say?
Yeah.
If a purpose is not known, right, you will abuse the vision. So yeah, if you don't know the cause, you just think that, it's one of the things. No, it's not one of those things. Sudden loss of a loved one can cause it. Being attacked can cause it. Kidnapped, that's the recent one, can cause it. Acts of terrorism, what's happening around the world, can cause it. Natural disaster, oh my goodness, that is another way it can cause it. Wars, don't forget when we talk about abuse. Do you know that even violence, right? Domestic violence. When we talk about domestic violence and abuse, there is verbal abuse.
Yes, that's
it's
emotional,
not just
psychological.
Beating, it's not just beating.
Yeah.
The way you approach people matters a lot. When you, in fact, it's also common. It's common with mothers also. You just your mates are taking first. What nonsense this? See your coconut. There's a way you keep speaking these words into the life of people, and they get used to it, and it's just okay. This is who I am. That's not who they are. And then your husbands are so. I've seen a lot of relationship go like that because of verbal. You may not have to be the person, but there is verbal abuse. I'm not talking about domestic violence. That was domestic violence is broad. Do you understand?
Yes, broad. Verbal
it's actually
is there, psychological, and financial, sexual abuse. They're all part of domestic abuse. Yeah.
If we want to deal with that, do you know that all these things now can actually take like a course?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Because you will pick one and make sure you deal with it. We are just talking about the surface. You understand?
Yeah.
If you pick one, only one, you want to talk about bullying. You want to talk about battering. It will take long. But we're just saying that these are causes of trauma. And women, believe me honestly, women are always at the receiving end.
Absolutely.
They are always at the receiving end. Let me quickly cast your mind back that emotional trauma, for me, can be subdivided into three main types. I need us to know this so that we understand the level that we find ourselves. You understand?
Yeah.
If your own is like this, you will know your level. If your own is like this, you know your level. We have three for me. Number one, acute trauma. Now, acute trauma is a result from a single incident. So it just happened just once. For example, you just have accident just once. It's just once accident. Just say, okay. That's once. But most times it will flash back.
Yeah.
That one, no problem. Then the second one is chronic trauma. This is a repeated and prolonged incidents, such as domestic violence or abuse. I don't know if you heard of the Oshayans incidents in the northern part of Nigeria. That girl was sexually abused, verbally abused. Her life was under threat. She was abused by the Oga and the son at the same time. To say that even the woman, the madam of the house was aware, and she kept quiet. This girl died. I think from different outbursts of the, different outcome, like you said. She was just small girl, I think whether 14 years or 15 years old, something like that. Father will come this night, son will come this night, the same night. Just bouncing on just one girl. The girl couldn't take it. And if she has spoken up, do you understand? She would have received help. It was so late that she was already dying when they took her to the.
They can't.
Yes, she was already. Yes, it was late when they took her to the hospital, and they saw you must speak up. Now let's talk about that. You're already in this thing. It's not easy to come out, my friend. when you find yourself in such situation, you've lost your identity. I mean, like we always say that if you're in an abusive relationship, please leave. Because where there is life, there is hope.
There's hope.
I know the world don't want to see. They want to view you that she's a divorcee, or she's like this, or she's like that. Yeah. And then like in Africa,
yeah, like single parent, you don't want to be termed.
Yes. It's better even in where you are. In Africa here, I know you're a full Nigeria, but in Africa here, they'll just pass like this. Look at that.
Stigma.
She cannot even take care of her marriage. And then people are scared. And that is why you see that they prefer to stay in the marriage and die there. And so you are hearing different deaths in the marriage. No! Once a relationship has to do with is already there's threats and like that, leave. Of course, you know that time is a healer. Ma, let me tell you something. If you have lost your identity and you have passed through all this, there's always a way out.
Out, sure.
The first thing I will say to everyone present there is, go to God. That's why this thing is psycho-biblical. Go to God. He will renew you. He said, let this mind be in you that was in Christ Jesus. Let this mind be in you that was in Christ Jesus. The mind of victory. He said, let it be by the renewing of your mind. Like we always say that we are doctors of the mind. That is not psychologists. We are the doctors of the mind. We deal with the mind. We tell you that you can actually modify your mind, train your mind to a victorious life you want to live. And you can find the answer in God. Go to him. Tell him your helplessness. This is who I am. This is the position I am. I need your help. I passed through something. My husband promised to give me money. I prayed. He said, my wife prayed. I prayed. Trust me now. Prayer warrior for that matter. I prayed like come out. I prayed day come out for prayer. I prayed and they paid him money. Give me money. You know what I said? What money? I said the money happy, sir. I paid bank. Oh boy. I was very, very angry. I won't lie you. I saw myself gradually going down. I was so angry. I wasn't talking to anybody at all. My mother would talk, my husband. I said, no. But do you know what helped me? It was January fasting and prayer. And I said, and I have that concept that you don't pray to God with anger in your mind. That actually helped me. I said, I can't fast with this anger. I went to the Holy Spirit and I say, help me, Holy Spirit. And before you know, that anger just disappeared. And I find joy again. That is the most important one. Every other one we build on this particular one. You can find your identity. Now, I want to speak to some people there that no man owns your happiness. Your joy must flow from within. You have your joy. I tell people, my husband does not want my happiness. Nobody, it's only Jehovah. My joy is from inside. If your happiness, you give your happiness to somebody, any slight thing you want to take your life. Why would I want to take my life? With this beautiful one. For what?
The word is
carry coke and drink. Look at
the
my
word is beautiful, like I say. Yeah.
The word is beautiful. Look at my mouth. I'm here. I'll just drink my mouth, cross my leg. In this beautiful one. Kill myself over what? No narcissist. We don't need to do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? So after that, we can now begin to talk about treatments. I will come back to God. I will round off with that. Do you understand? Let me not just be the God. Okay. But number one, seek God. Just seek God. Another way out, which is treatment, you're talking about therapy.
Therapy. We're talking about how people can heal from trauma.
Yes, that's what you're talking about because the time is almost gone. Let's not dive into many stories. Do you understand what I'm talking about? We're talking about healing now. That's the treatment. We're talking about healing process. That's the treatment.
Yeah.
Like number one, I said God. Number two, therapy. Therapy is the first line. It's the first line of treatment for trauma. You have to look for an expert the person have to look for an expert. I hope the person already know that. That is why we are looking at the symptoms and the causes. So you already know that is a problem. So now you acknowledge that it's a problem. That is the way. What's the way out? Number one, God. Number two, seek help from a therapist. Therapist can be a psychologist, can be a counselor. They will take you through a talk process. When we talk about therapy, it's a talk process. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's engaging somebody in talk and using techniques to help the people. So that's the first line of treatment. The second one is medication. Like I said, depends on the level. Depends on the level. We have acute. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we have acute. Did I even talk about the third one? We have acute, we have chronic and complex. The third one is complex. Complex. Yeah, sorry. The third one is complex trauma. And this one is an exposure to varied and multiple traumatic events, often of an aversive interpersonal nature. So it has to do everything, your inside, your outside. You are like down. I mean, totally down.
Totally.
You know.
Wow.
Yes, this one. If you are in fact, you need to be admitted. If you are,
treatment to begin.
If you are this third stage, you don't need to stay at home. You don't need, because there are tendencies for you to take your life. You have the tendency to harm yourself. You must stay around people. If you are suffering from the last one, that one, no. Don't even assume that you will heal. Please find your way. Find your way.
Professional help.
Yes. Like I said, medication. Medication alone cannot actually cure trauma. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It cannot actually cure trauma, but it can help a person's to manage symptoms such as anxiety, depression, and sleep disturbance. You know, some of these things can cause these things, right?
Of course.
You know, you lose sleep, you know, it can cause so. But if you take medications, it can help you. You understand?
Yeah,
but these medications,
alleviate.
they are not on the counter medications. You have to go for prescriptions, yes, because they have after effect. That's why we tell people that medication is actually not the best. You want to sleep, you take Lezotan. You want to sleep, you take Volunteer. It's not the best, because
even the doctors will give you for a short period of time, and they wean you off it so that natural. If not, without you can't sleep. So it becomes yeah.
So another one, because I know time is fast spent, is self-care. Oh my goodness, I love this. Self-care. Now, practicing self-care can help individuals to cope with the emotional, psychological, or about this trauma we're talking about. Self-care, like exercise. Do you understand? Exercise, meeting friends, making new friends, doing what you love. Like me, I go to cinema, I dance. You see me dancing now. I dance. Oh my goodness, they're not reach the day. I go dance the latest dance. Then I not allow my dad. So self-care. Self-care. I mean, take care of yourself, exercise, eat well. You know, I mean, this can actually, researchers actually suggest that aerobic exercise, you know, can or may help in trying to help you to come out of trauma. You know, exercise is very good though. So you can actually do that. Self-care, exercise. I mean, eat well, eat right. Sometimes just for yourself. Yeah, I take care of myself. I don't take all these fatty things because of health. Of course, we're no longer young. But once in a while, babe. Don't go that side though. Once in a while, I show myself into cinema.
Yes, so
I watch movie. I just take popcorn, take myself out. My husband is the traveling type. I know how to enjoy myself. Thank God for the work of God. I preach the gospel. I go for evangelism. I do what gives me joy.
Take time out for yourself.
Another one is mindfulness. This is a huge topic on its own. But I'm just going to talk about the surface. Mindfulness is very, very important. You know, mindful breathing, that is your breathing. This one has to do with practice. Has to do with practice. At times you just listen to your breath. It's just if you can listen to your breath, you can easily snap out of that your thinking.
Yeah, just be in the moment.
Flashback.
Yeah. Be in the present moment.
The problem now, yes, that's mindfulness. Now, for example, you pass through the scene. If you're alone, do you know the flashbacks will be coming? The flashback will be coming. So, but when we talk about your practicing mindfulness, like you rightly said, be in the moment.
Yeah.
What is the moment?
Mindfulness course sessions. And yes, what you're saying is true.
You do that, right?
Yeah, I've done it a couple of years back. So
yeah,
it's
very, very
he
good.
helped me. That was the first journey. That's where my healing journey started from.
Wow.
That, because I now became aware of my environment. I became aware of myself. I became aware of how I was behaving differently that I did not understand. Then I now, because when I was going through my own abuse, I was always putting my head down. Structures that in my environment, I didn't know were there for so many years, until when I came out doing mindfulness, I learned to look around, see the colors of which color building is this? Is it yellow? I can look around, just observe the environment, breathe in, savor the environment. Everywhere I go, I look around. Appreciate nature. That way I was trying to, that was where I was making sense.
That is it.
I was not being aware, and it helped. Then there were other things.
And if you're absent-minded, if you're absent-minded, if you don't practice mindfulness and you are suffering this, you're having this traumatic, you're passing through trauma. Let me not say suffer, that is the wrong word. You are passing through this traumatic event, right? Do you know that if you're not in the moment, you can just walk into express road now. You don't know vehicle is coming because your mind is up there at that particular time, and that is just like that. That actually helps. It's a whole this on its own. I have a package on that on its own. But practicing mindfulness, my present moment. What's my present moment? Is that I am with you.
Yeah, you
do you understand?
In the present.
My present moment is that this fan is blowing me. Present moment is what do I need to do now? I need to just be aware. What's going on? Be aware. I mean, if you can do that, you can actually come out from it. And finally, connecting to others. This is so good. I'm people oriented though. I'm telling you honestly. Ever since I went for my second degree and I know about personalities, temperaments, I've tried to really absorb people. Do you understand? I try to manage people. I give people benefit of doubt. I'm around people all the time. My children are not with me, but I'm not lacking people. My children are in schools, this, that. My husband at times is not always around, but I'm always with people. So if really you want to help, you must begin to connect to others. Wow. That's one problem with those who pass through this thing. Like you say, if you notice when you were passing through that, you notice that you withdraw. You withdraw from a lot of people. Yes. Like, wow, these days I'm like even wondering, I don't even know where my friends are anymore. So it's like I need to start reconnecting, because it makes you short. So connect.
You go ahead. I said it makes you short. You don't want to connect with people. You withdraw.
Yes. Yeah. So withdrawal from others is a common symptom of trauma. So, but however, connecting with friends and family is very important. According to Anxiety and Depression Association of America, I'm going to quote this. They say staying in contact with people can help to prevent trauma from from having this mental disorder. So simply engaging with others can improve mood and well-being. It is not necessarily that you must talk about your situation. Do you understand? It's not everybody you see and I say, I'm passing through this, so my husband do this, so some are not your friends. But what we are saying is that just mingle, laugh, especially old friends like me and you now. You understand how we understand secondary school. When I just out, hello, you can dance now. Hello, you can dance. It's like dancing now. You don't say,
not be today.
Not be today. Don't say. It has stayed. When you meet especially old friends like this, the old firewood just come up.
Come alive.
I'm telling you. And another way okay, like I said, that is last number. Let me just drop these two very quickly.
Okay, now.
Balance
Professor
your
in the house,
lifestyle.
Dr. Debbie Jones. Give us the nuggets.
We too they talk. May I just quickly sort of this one?
Oh, no, because as you're giving the nuggets, you're helping people. They need to know,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
So give us the nuggets.
Okay, so another one is you have a balanced lifestyle. You understand? Have a balanced lifestyle. I've already talked about this, but very importantly, a person with trauma may find it difficult to relax or to sleep. However, sleep, relaxation, diet, like I said, can play a very good role, a very great role in healing, in the healing process. If possible, I would want to advise that you should sleep 7 to 9 hours a night.
Every day, yeah.
7 to 9 hours a night. Sleeping is very important. Sleeping as itself is a therapy. Do you understand?
Therapy, yeah.
So sleep for like 7 to 8 hours. Eat a balanced diet. Avoid alcohol and drugs. Relieve stress with mindful, enjoyable activities, like we have said. And very also importantly, ask for help. Ask for support. Speak up. Speak up. Because, you know, when you speak up, I mean, that's 50% gone of the problem.
Yeah.
They say half solution, halfway gone. I'm telling you, just try to speak up. You know what problem with victims is that they're always being threatened not to speak.
Yeah.
If you talk, we'll kill you. But the truth of the matter is that the first way to kill those people is to talk. So if you're passing through one trauma, maybe domestic violence, maybe like rape, abuse, one thing or the other,
your mouth
speak
and
up.
seek help. That's your beginning of your safety.
They can't do nothing.
Your solution starts from that day. Your help comes by speaking up. Because they can't do anything. Once you speak up, you've just broken everything. Safety comes. Help would come.
You know, and you know, funny enough, the way the corporates, the way they do this thing, they will threaten you. If you talk, I will kill.
Very controlling and manipulative and threats.
I'm telling you, if you talk,
I know,
you will pack out of my house. I hope you know that you don't have anywhere.
Please, I know.
There are many people. I'm here to help you. I'm just a phone call from where you are. No matter anywhere you find yourself, just call. You want to die there? Please leave. Speak up.
Speak up. There are a lot of people willing to help.
There are a lot of bodies, NGOs. Yeah. Yes, they will just arrange. They will take over the issue. Don't die in your cocoon. Please speak up. Ask
Thank you
for
so
help.
much for that. Thank you so much for that.
People who experience persistence of severe symptoms or trauma should seek help from mental health professionals.
Powerful.
Child of God, I leave you with this word. Above all, Jehovah is the healer.
That's
recently,
so
when my daughter was not fine, when I prayed and she became healed, I was telling the doctors, they say your daughter is fine. I said, yes, so I prayed. They said, tell us thank you. I said, no, okay, thank you. Then I said, well, you cured. They said, no, we have changed it. We have changed it. We care. We don't even cure.
We don't care.
We only care. Jehovah cures and he heals.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know what you have passed through. I don't know. Before I do this, maybe Belinda can say something. Sister Naomi. Not Belinda. Sister Naomi can say something, and then I will just round off with words of inspirations and like that, and then I'll go off. Before I do that, maybe you just add, if you have anything to add, you can add before I just round off my own and I leave you alone.
Thank you so much to have delved on this topic, the way you pieces it, you broke it down, because trauma is huge. I did not know I was carrying trauma until just 2 years ago, you know, because the more you come across information, knowledge, you just realize, woo, this is me. And because, like she said, I used to be extremely quiet. I was very quiet, really, really quiet. But when you see problems in life, you see yourself talking literally. I wasn't a talking type, but literally was like, what trauma made me do was I was crying. By talking, I was looking for help, crying for help, but all in the wrong places. All the people surrounded me did not understand what I was going through. Some of them would say, this one talks like somebody that is even mad. But no, At that point in time, you're crying for help. You didn't even know what's happening to you. I couldn't make sense of what. The only thing that kept me sane was each time I remember who I used to be, where I was coming from. I knew I was highly intelligent. I knew where I was. Wasn't like, so that just kept me like, there's something wrong. It's not me that is a problem. Something happened to me. And when I started talking more to people, I found people that were victims of abuse, domestic abuse, and they tell me what they went through, what their partners did to them. Some of them lost their speeches. For me, that was part of the trauma I went through. I couldn't speak for 3 years. Correct sentences. Some days I find this. She's an evident person here. She can say how intelligent I was. So I was impeccable. I never used to I was very impeccable in my English, but I slur in words. But I thank God I am alive. Trauma is something you can't deal with. You need support. You need people that supportive people to surround you so that they can encourage you. If they don't understand it, they'll be like, for what? Someone, you know how someone doesn't know you, they think you're talking like somebody that is dumb. So, but you know, I hurt because you yourself know how intelligent you are, but circumstance make you look dumb. But then I met a medical doctor that went through abuse. She's in America. She's in somewhere in America. And she also lost her speech. That's when I knew. She's the first person I made contact with. And I met another young girl in England. She lost her speech too. As a result, that was domestic violence, beating and everything. This other, mine was emotional. They did not beat me, but I lost my speech for 3 years. Now, sometimes I want to make some words. I can't. But I just keep trying that. God, I'll get there.
Yeah.
So you can imagine.
That's what, be intentional.
Yeah.
And I think another thing, sorry to cut you. Another thing you should do, you should organize another forum for people who surround these people who are victims. Because like you said, people around you, they were not aware of what was going on. And they were just thinking that maybe something just doesn't.
Because they didn't know you. Like most of these people I met them, they didn't know me from childhood. So they could not compare my life before. All they knew is this one that just talks, she's always talking about a problem, but they don't understand. I'm looking for help. That's why I'm crying. This is what I'm going through. The more I cried, the more I wasn't sane. And I'm like, how did I get here? You know, but I thank God while I'm doing this, I'm helping. The more I'm seeing people that have gone through it, then you know, wow, it's similar. The trauma. There's this lady, she lost, like you said, physical ailment, diseases as a result of complications. As a result, people carry it. They are not people that were not sick before. But
that is another one. No.
That's another level. The mental depression. Some of, you know, but we thank God that we could survive. Some people end up come out of it. But that's why we're making this podcast. We're giving people awareness so that when you see the signs, run. Don't think about it. Love cannot solve it. Abuse, love doesn't solve it. These abusers don't understand love. All they understand is control, manipulate. Once you leave, they'll look for another person to also as a victim. They can't stay alone. They have to look for who to feed off. So if you go, somebody else, they always quickly get someone to feed off. Do you understand? So you think about yourself, leave love alone, save yourself, save your kids. And I didn't know what trauma was on just 2 years ago. And
love yourself, love your
kids. Then in that journey, the journey of healing doesn't take 1 day. Because for each and everyone, we're different.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It's a process.
So it's a process. So just accept that you are alive. Thank God for that life. Then the podcast and different topics are coming on and where to find help. Get help. And if you need support, there are people out there for support. In my platform there, if you need anything, you can DM my Instagram platform. You have questions and we can give you information, like I say, a way out. You don't tell them you're leaving, want to leave abuser, because a lot of people die there. And it's as a result of trauma that was unmanaged. Nobody knew they're going through trauma while they're there because they'll leave. It's after they've left. Some of them still carry trauma they don't know. I became so irritable. I was that type. I was never angry. I was an encourager. I get angry at every little thing because I feel nobody understands what I'm going through. Or you just, all the symptoms you mentioned, everything ticks the box on me. So when you're saying them, I know it's true. And I believe other people can relate. So please, these topics are very important. They've broken down what trauma is, the physical, the psychological, and other areas, the types, the acute, the different treatment one can go through, the acute, the complex, the
acute, the chronic
and the complex. So you can see trauma is not just trauma, it has different layers. And I pray nobody gets into that last stage, you know. So the earlier you've diagnosed it, you can seek for help. If you're in Nigeria or Western part, you know where you can. I'm going to leave a contact down on the description place where you can be in contact if you need help. And if it's domestic abuse and you're in the diaspora, you can get in touch with us. Even in Africa, and we'll direct you to the right places. You don't be afraid, you'll find help. First, speak. The only thing you can do for me is please love yourself by speaking. I know you're afraid, but we spoke too. That's how we came out. You need to speak.
And they are also afraid of stigma. They're afraid of stigma. They shouldn't bother. Just talk.
When you die, like I say, when we die, nobody's going to ask you on Judgment Day, were you married or you were single? Were you divorced? No. Did you do my will?
No.
Did you live a good life? Do you understand?
Yeah, that's just it.
Yes, as long as that marriage is not abusive, fine, hang in there and work it out. But once there's abuse, I will tell you, run. I didn't say divorce, but just run.
Love your life and just leave.
It's toxic. Please, a lot of people are dying. Just today now, I entered the YouTube and they're talking about a Kenya woman that is an athlete. I didn't really go into it, and they said the partner killed her, poisoned her, domestic violence as well. And every day I keep hearing, every day I open on that channel is the same thing. I'm like, when would this end? They show different every time, every week. There's always
just like they are not
it's an everyday thing. Sorry, they just delete.
I don't know if they are not listening. That's just the thing.
But the women too, some of them stay. Just one more. I don't want them to let them. Okay, Jesus, when he was alive, he's God. There's nobody that don't gossip. That's someone that did not commit a sin and they gossiped him. So please, if staying alive means calling you a single parent, please, I own that badge. Wait. Because when you even come out, that's when you start suffering the pain of the abuse, the impact of your abuse. You start seeing it too. But when you are there, you don't know the impact even on the children. Children become dysfunctional because you can't really give them love because they can feel the tension in the air. And the children carry trauma as well. So please, the earlier we can cut it, there's still time. As long as you saw today and you listen to this podcast, please make a choice. Don't leave it too late. Please get in touch and let's give you support, please.
And just to round off my side so I can leave you, I want you to know that you are wonderfully and fearfully created. You resemble God. God doesn't just create us. He created us to fulfill purpose. Absolutely. He created us to be an answer to a generational question. And if you are passing through this particular situation, you have just deprived God of you fulfilling your assignment, thereby leaving your path porous, and then your disappointed destiny. So I want you to know that your life is in your hand. How you fulfill your destiny is in your hand. It's not in any man's hand. No matter the trauma you are passing through, there is still another way out. There is joy on the other side. If there is sadness, there is joy. Absolutely. If there is unhappiness, there is happiness. If there is death, there is life. The Bible says, according to Joshua and Moses, I present before you life and death. Choose. And today I'm saying, which are you going to choose? If it's death, then you cannot remain in your cuckoo. But if it's life, to fulfill destiny, so that by the time you leave, according to my moron, the earth will be glad that someone passed through it and you will leave your sculpture on the earth's surface. Absolutely. Don't just leave this earth like that. You must leave it no matter what. And you are that person. God allowed you to pass through the experience so you will be a solution to your generation. You are that person that passed through to show the light and the way to those who are still suffering, those who are still passing through such situation. Speak up so that they can have life. If you are not speaking up right now, I want you to know that anybody that dies, their blood will be required from your hand. If you don't want to answer any question based on people's blood, speak up and let others believe and have faith and come out. So I'll leave you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Debby Jones-Erue. You really dissected this topic so much. I appreciate your knowledge. I appreciate your your time and your empathy.
Thank you.
It's only when you have empathy
Thank
you can deal with a topic, because it feels like it's touching you. And thank you for
Yes.
sharing your own personal life stories with us, so that people know when you come on this platform, you're not just reading textbook. You're saying, yes, I'm a psychologist. Yes, I deal with people, but then I see but I'm also telling you my life story, and this
I'm
is
telling you.
You can also be delivered. You can get a way out. There's a solution to these things. All we need from you is speak out, because when you speak out, help is waiting at just around the corner. So thank you so much. And
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Scared But Not Damaged podcast. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Scared But Not Damaged, so you don't miss a show. Kindly subscribe to the show so you know when new episodes are released, and leave us a review so we can continue to bring you amazing episodes. Thanks for listening, and see you next week.